What is up, guys? This is Gawdlikematt, and I'm here to help you guys with the incredibly annoying, tedious, and time-consuming achievement, Benevolent Leader. Now, there are several great guides on YouTube already regarding this trophy. Specifically, I highly recommend Jeremy's from Achievement Hunter, because personally I found his to be the most helpful, and he mentioned a few good points that most other guides I've seen did not, so definitely check that one out if you guys need help with the basics of this trophy. Now, my video is going to be covering specifically the major points that every guide I've ever seen thus far didn't cover, and I think they're really important to know before investing your time into this trophy, because it's a really long process, and once you've already started it, it's not like it's just as easy as restarting a new settlement from scratch whenever you want, because depending on how much work you've put into it already, that could be a lot of time you just wasted. That being said, let's get started. Here are some major important facts you may have missed. Now, first and foremost, the most important thing I'm going to recommend to you guys when going for this achievement is to not start working on a settlement right away. The game is going to encourage you to start one at Sanctuary, which is the first one you're going to encounter very early into the game. And it teaches you the basics on what to do, but don't put any more time and effort into Sanctuary than that. Or any other settlement for that matter. It's really important which settlement you pick to be your main settlement for this achievement, because some of the settlements are just a bad idea in general, and you might end up just wasting your time. There are a variety of reasons why certain settlements are a bad idea. One being that you're going to need a lot of space to build, and some settlements are a goddamn joke. For example, Hangman's Alley, and another example being the Covenant. These settlements are way too cluttered and massively enclosed spaces, and they're just not optimal choices to build a good settlement, so I would avoid these areas or any areas similar to them. Now, two settlements you're going to want to seriously avoid are Sanctuary as well as the Castle. And yes, I know the Castle's freaking awesome, but it's actually an awful place to build in reality, so hear me out. The major problems with Sanctuary and the Castle is that there are specific NPCs that are unique to these locations, as well as mandatory, meaning you can't get rid of them or send them away. On top of that, one of Sanctuary's unique characters is Mama Murphy, and not only is she taking up a spot in your 20 settler capacity, you can't command her or give her a job, so she's a complete waste of space, literally. The castle, however, is even worse. Not only does the castle have another waste of a settler, that one being Ronnie Shaw, whom you cannot assign a job to, but the castle also has someone who needs to be doing the radio broadcast at all times for the Minutemen. And this person cannot be given a job either. This is extremely problematic. All 20 of your settlers are very valuable, and having 2 of those settlers not being able to work really sets you back, and could possibly prevent you from reaching 100% happiness altogether. I highly recommend the Slog as the ideal settlement. This place is fucking amazing. For one, you start off with 7 settlers right off the bat, and that's way more than most settlements start you off with. All of which can be assigned jobs, so there's no problems there either. Not to mention, this place is a big, wide open space with lots of room to build. A massive farming area is also included, which is great, and a shitload of beds and shelter right off the bat. Half of the work's already done by the time you move in. Definitely one of the best settlements out there. Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't mind living with ghouls. The way your settlement should be set up in order to be the most efficient at building your settlement's happiness is to have a minimum of 4 settlers assigned to food and the other 16 running rank 3 shops. Every shop but armor and weapons contributes to happiness, so that's also something important to keep in mind. Speaking of food, there are two ways of building a really good farm. The best way, and what most people will tell you, is to just use mutfruit, since it's the only crop that provides one full food as opposed to 0.5. And if all you care about is getting the trophy, then yes, that is the best way to do it. However, another great farm you can create is one with a mixture of mutfruit, corn, and potatoes. The reason for this is because they are the ingredients for vegetable starch, which you can create in the cooking station. Vegetable starch serves no purpose rather than to provide you with adhesive. And if you like making upgrades to anything, whether it be weapons, armor, or power armor, then you're going to need a fuck ton of adhesive, and having a farm giving you all the necessary ingredients each time upon arrival is the most efficient way to do that by far, so it's a really good idea. If you're having trouble finding the ingredients for such an amazing farm, Finch's farm is one of the best places to stock up. There's not only a ton of corn here, but mutfruit as well. As for potatoes, you can find a crap ton of them at Abernathy's farm, which is usually found really early into the game. Another important fact I would seriously advise you not to do is sending any of your companions to your main settlement. The reason for this is that some followers at times just won't allow you to assign them a job. I found it depends on the companion. As you could see, Preston won't allow me to assign him a job, however Curie was more than willing on the other hand. Since the companions count as a settler towards your 20 settler limit, it's best to just avoid this situation altogether and just use regular settlers. They never say no or give you any problems. Now, most people know that the amount of settlers you can have is dependent on your charisma. The default limit is 10. Then, whatever your charisma is, add it to that. So, if you have 10 charisma, 10 more settlers can move in, giving you a total of 20. However, what some people may not realize is if you get your charisma to 10 before you get the charisma bobblehead, then obtaining the charisma bobblehead will exceed the cap, boosting you to 21 charisma, allowing another settler to move into your settlement. And depending on your situation, this could be incredibly useful, and it might just fix some problems. Now, probably the last helpful tip I can offer you guys is the settlement size exploit. Sometimes, when building the ideal settlement, chances are eventually you're going to hit the cap on size. And more often than not, this can get pretty annoying. The way to increase size is to scrap objects. That being said, what you can do is whenever you're going through a dungeon or doing a quest and you're collecting valuable items to scrap for upgrade materials, make sure you scrap them in your ideal settlement. That way, every item you scrap will increase the cap on size, and eventually you'll be able to build more in your ideal settlement. And that is it, guys. Those are all the tips I have for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I just wanted to say that I really hoped that this video helped you guys out, because I know me personally, I really could have benefited from all these tips had I had known them long before I started building my settlement. I ended up wasting a lot of time because the settlement I poured all my time and resources into ended up being faulty, and I couldn't get the achievement with the settlement I was currently using, and I had to end up switching, and I actually still have yet to get the achievement, so but I know I will be able to get it because I know how to get it now. I have a lot of experience when it comes to this trophy, and these were just things that other guides weren't giving me. A lot of these tips are things that aren't really mentioned in other people's guides, and I find that they're pretty important to know, and they're extremely helpful, at least in my opinion, because, as I said, this is stuff that really would have helped me out had I had known prior to the fact. So, that being said, I sincerely hope that this helped you guys out in some way. Let me know if it did. Let me know if I missed anything, if there's other important things that might come in handy that I didn't mention, and I would really appreciate if you guys showed some support. drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel. I could really use it. I'm still growing on YouTube, so it would really help me out. And for any future videos, you guys can recommend anything. You guys can make requests. I accept that kind of thing. And I will definitely see you guys in my next video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. So take care.